Hello, it's Sulfur. This is a Sunday live stream in the Men's Human Rights Discord. We run the Men's Human Rights website. This week's topic is about a video of a woman dumping her child in a trash can and indirectly killing the child. This might be disturbing, so here's a trigger warning. You'll be watching this and giving a live reaction. Now, Men Are Human will do the rest of the live stream. On to you.
What you're about to see is sourced from the Law and Crime Network, so it is a legit video. And we have an article too to discuss if we can get through this. We're going to stop and start as we go through, and hopefully you should be able to see this as we watch it at home.
Lexi, I told you about this.
You are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
How big is the baby?
It's full term.
What?
So they started working her up. We did a pregnancy test on her, showed positive. She was a 9 that she had sex. Then she said she had to go to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom. She was in there for quite a while. We kept knocking on the door. Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood everywhere. She was cleaning it up. So we took her back to the room, and I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant. She had done something to herself. So the doctor started doing an exam on her. We had the lady come to clean the bathroom. She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was underneath the clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah. How old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term. She just had it. She had it in the bathroom. Was what happened, and then whatever she did, I don't know. She's gonna lie. She wouldn't tell us she's pregnant. She's been lying the whole time.
Okay.
So that's what's going on. I just pulled the doctor out of the room, so nothing's been said to the patient or the mother that's in there yet.
Okay.
I have Leela, the housekeeper, if you want to interview her.
Yeah.
I have Leela, the housekeeper, if you want to interview her.
Yeah.
She's the one that kind of found.
Yeah, because I wanted to get with you guys first, and then get with her
Right.
to get her statement before I even did anything.
Well, I'm the charge, and this is what has happened.
Okay.
You can interview the nurse that had her.
Okay.
The 2 nurses that were taking care of her. You can talk to the tech, which is Lori. She's the one that went in there and actually found it, because Leela's like, this is really heavy.
Okay.
So then Lori went in there, and then of course the baby was underneath the clean liner.
Okay. Yeah. If we can speak with Lori, because I
Okay,
want to get her
I'll get
statement.
Lori,
and
and I'll
get-
So,
Leela.
officers, the first thing though is I need to make sure that the mother, the woman who delivered the baby, is medically stable. I don't know if she delivered a placenta. She's bleeding a lot. I just got her accepted to Loveless, so I need to get her up there as soon as possible.
Okay. Take this over here right
Okay, so how I need to tell her what's going on, and I need to tell the mother what's going. The mother, and they're both in there together. Is one of you willing to be present for that conversation?
And I'll go in there.
Are you guys going?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
go in right
sure.
now and do all this.
While we're doing that,
And then I'll make sure Leela comes out. All the other.
Okay, just so we can establish what's happened so far. First thing, this young girl has been telling the doctors multiple lies. She told them she wasn't pregnant. Then she went and gave birth in a bathroom. And I don't know if you heard the first bit, but she left the bathroom extremely bloody. And then she took the baby, and then she put the baby into the trash, into the bin, and then she put another plastic liner on top of the baby, suffocating it. And I want you to bear in mind as we go through this that the comments on Twitter about this same footage are mostly in the girl's favor. So they're only seeing the footage inside the room itself where they're talking to the girl. It's only like 45 seconds of it. But at the same time, from that you get that she pretty much killed her baby. But from this, you should understand at least that the doctors are very adamant that she actually did fully kill the baby. What I'm saying is that there's a little bit of doubt in the original video. However, when you actually check up on this, there is absolutely no doubt at all. So I'm going to give the Twitter people that there is a little bit of doubt when it comes to the original video. It is a little bit vague about what happened. But right, we know very much that she killed her baby at this point.
May I comment on something else?
Sure.
On Twitter it was also said that she tried to hide the baby instead of trying to kill it, but that's obviously inexcusable because the bathroom was all bloody. So even if she
Yeah.
had hidden the child, she really didn't make an attempt to cover it up or hide the blood, meaning it was probably just an attempted murder.
Well, the baby's dead, so it would be actual murder now at this point. But yeah,
It seems a bit
But
unsure in video, so that's
yeah, we do seem to be thinking about talking about a very disturbed young woman who, I mean, when you see her, you'll see she seems a bit. But let's get forward to that bit. I hope this isn't going to play adverts on us.
And I'll make sure Leela comes down, all the other nurses and stuff are here, and I'll get Leela here. Okay. But she's in the ship. Hey, Marina, will you get Leela back down here? Marina?
I'm sorry, there's we discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It came out in me and I didn't know what to do.
That
Just to be clear, this is the part just as they come in the room and she says, "We discovered a dead baby." This is the bit that was on Twitter.
weird that before she was told that she didn't seem to have any emotion on her face.
Yeah, this is a frequent thing where you'll see with people who are extremely guilty, absolutely no emotion, and then they absolutely ball up crying and stuff like that when it becomes, convenient to do so. But I mean, we can go back and have a look again to see if that's actually what's happening. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know if you can see on screen right now, but you should be able to see her face before they said anything.
We can only see it if you play.
I'm sorry, there's we discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It came out in me and I didn't know what to do.
Lexi, I told you about this.
But it
I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth.
was not crying or nothing. What did you do to
So
it?
hold on. One thing I found was very weird was the mother had a conversation with her daughter about not putting babies in bins. Is that what she's saying there? Is anyone else getting that?
It kind of sounds like either that or just a general conversation trying to get her to admit that she was pregnant. But it's impossible to really tell.
It is. It is. It could go in a multiple different ways. But maybe I told you about this. Her first reaction. That's a bit weird. But okay. Let's carry.
Crying or nothing. What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here.
I
Stop,
just-
stop. Number one priority, guys. Number one priority. She just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
I've spoken to the obstetrician at Loveless. They want her out there as soon as possible.
Okay.
I obviously need your permission to transfer her from medicals to. She needs to
She's
be
19.
Oh, you're right.
But she is a student too.
She's
No,
still
but
19
you're
years
you're
old.
right. You're right. She needs to. I'm sorry, I forgot she's 19.
Keep out of me.
But you need to make sure that you're safe. I need to send you to Loveless to labor and delivery. Will you please agree to that?
Yes.
Yes.
I,
Okay, great. I'm gonna work on that. In terms, I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
nothing was crying. It came out with nothing.
I know. But the baby's gonna have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but we need to do this correctly. And I want to be transparent with you about what our steps are going to be. Okay. Officer, do you guys need?
Okay, so notice that she's not saying, "You monster, you killed your baby, you stuck a plastic bag over it," which means she's doing damage control here, essentially. I don't think, it sounds like she's being sympathetic to her, but I think what she's actually doing is trying to keep her from having a freak out. Because, yeah. Did you want to say something there?
No, I was gonna disagree and then say what you said.
Okay, fair enough.
Officer, do you guys need to talk to her before we get her transferred?
How long is it gonna be before you have to transfer
I
out?
don't know. Are you working on?
Okay.
Marina,
So-
do you think 20-30 minutes?
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
Okay.
I got detectives on the way, so
Okay.
they're gonna be talking to her.
Okay.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here, do you guys have any questions for me?
Like, how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Nothing was crying.
Lexi, have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail?
Nothing was crying.
Any,
I find her word choice there very interesting. It sounds a lot like she's saying that thing was crying, but she's actually saying nothing was crying, according to the people on Twitter. I'm not actually sure which she's saying, but in context, nothing was crying makes a little bit more sense. But that's a very, very strange way of saying it wasn't crying or the baby wasn't crying. You could put it down to it being traumatized, but at the same time, she didn't look traumatized when we came in the room. It's very strange what's going on here. I think this is probably going to be something that they pick up on in court, because it hasn't gone to court yet. But I'm not going to judge on it, because people say weird things sometimes.
any other questions? Okay.
Right. So as of right now, like I said, we're gonna have the detectives come over here and they're gonna talk to you. Okay. We have to gather some more information about what's going on. They'll get your statement. They're gonna get the doctor's statements. They're gonna get everybody's statements. Okay. So I don't know everything yet. Okay. So I'm not gonna tell you. I can't tell you nothing honestly. Okay. All I can
Like,
say
she's
is
not gonna go to jail.
right now.
No?
No. Well, right now she's being detained. So she's not gonna leave from here at all. Period. Okay. So one of us will
Is
be
it in your custody? Like,
Yeah, she's detained. Yeah, she's not under arrest, but she is
Okay.
detained. Okay, she's not free to leave. So while this whole thing is coming up, you're not free to leave. Okay, one of us will be in here the whole time with you, because you're not going to try to leave or nothing like that.
she
All right.
won't.
Like I said, the detectives will be here. They're going to talk to you. Your care is of the utmost right now. Okay, they're going to do what they need to do to take care of you to make sure you get stable. They get you transferred out or whatever. Like I said, the detectives are already been notified. They're already on the way, so they're going to come talk to you. All right. So don't leave, don't try to do nothing. One of us is always gonna be in here, in this room with you, okay? Unless we have to step out for doctor's orders, something like that, because if they need to examine you or do something with you. But other than that, like I said, you are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where was the baby at?
I don't know. I have no clue yet. Like I said, I just talked to the charge nurse. We're still getting all the information right now.
Okay.
Okay. Once we get that information, like I said, the detectives, they can clue you in on everything and talk to you more about it.
Okay.
All right. So. Do you happen to have an ID on you, perchance?
Yes, she does.
Okay. Can we get that, please? Get all that information. Call it in to dispatch. Not on radio.
Okay.
Not on radio.
Okay, I think that's enough to you to get a good idea of what's going on here. So let's have an openly discussion on it, and let's talk about what's happening, because it seems very strange to me the way she reacts. It's also like how she acted before was very odd. But my real thought with this is not so much how she acts. My thought with this is more how Twitter reacted to this. Now, Twitter was calling it postpartum, which is where you get really depressed after having a baby, and it's not very nice. Both men and women can go through it. It's
What?
I'm not clear on it, what it is, to be honest, but it is an excuse. Essentially, it's basically trying to excuse her, like, oh, she wasn't in control of her own actions, she couldn't stop herself stuffing this baby in a bin and then trying to plaster it down with a new plastic lining to hide that it was in there. Did you want to say something?
Well,
Taz?
oh, yeah, I was just going to say, because I don't indulge in Twitter at all, was there any discussion of, like what should be done with her about this? Or was it just, was it just Twitterers saying this is why she did this, so that makes it okay?
There was an air of trying to justify her throughout the whole thing. There were a few people saying lock her up, but what was extremely absent was the usual mob of Twitter people who, if a man did something like this to a child, would be posting pictures of wood chippers, nooses, saying, like they would shoot them, all that sort of stuff, string them up, all that kind of thing. That nice stuff.
Yeah.
Completely absent for them, like as far as I saw. Second was a bunch of people saying, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. Like she was just like she had this baby suddenly and she didn't know she was going to have it, and it drove her temporarily. It's the sort of thing basically that they were trying to minimize what she did, and also at the same time to try and get her off the hook, basically, by saying she had like a moment of madness or something, or like she's just a girl, or she didn't know what she's doing, all this sort of stuff that you would never see an 18 or 19-year-old boy get if
Right.
like the roles are reversed.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if
Oh.
an 18-year-old, 19-year-old boy stuffed a baby in a bin and
There would
put
be,
plastic over its mouth.
yeah, there would be a mobbing.
Probably.
There would be quite extreme mobbing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a simple solution to this. Really. No. There's one preventative that would have caused all of this to be prevented. If she never got pregnant, none of this would have happened. The number one way to make sure that someone like this doesn't get pregnant is not to have sex with her.
Damn. It is a
Oh,
little
that
weird.
does remind me that people were blaming the guy as well. They were blaming the guy
Oh.
for getting her pregnant.
So if I were to, make comments on Twitter, what I'd be saying is time to shut this down. You know,
But like that does bring up a good point. Where is
I
the father?
I would just put, at all men, time to stop allowing this to happen.
I don't understand why you guys are kind of agreeing with the Twitter here. Actually,
What?
like
No,
Twitter's take
I
on
don't
it-
agree. I don't agree with the Twitter take. I think it's reprehensible. I do. But the only appropriate response is to say, then we're not going to allow this to happen anymore. We're just going to take all this away from you.
I mean, this is something that's been happening for thousands of years. Like women have killed their babies.
Okay, then it's way over time to bring it to a close.
Yeah.
It's been happening this
I
way
mean-
for thousands of years, and it's been this kind of reaction for thousands of years. Time to shut it off. Enough is enough.
I mean, if you can think of a way to shut it off without stopping the entire human race from reproducing, then I'm all
There you
ears,
go.
really.
There you go. It's not that complicated. Tell them, look,
I mean, it would be pretty complicated.
either this kind of thing stops, or we turn the whole damn thing off.
What exactly is the difference between this and abortions? Like, of course there's a difference, but isn't it kind of the same thing?
We probably shouldn't go
Ma,
there.
can you pause the video? I can't hear anything.
No, let's not go there.
It is paused.
This is a
It is
baby.
paused.
The other is a fetus.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's not go into this topic. Never mind.
I mean, a lot of people would argue those are the same things, plus a birth canal. But
That's the
yeah,
exact
let's.
Let's not go.
Okay, so I can read through some of the Twitter messages if you guys want.
Yeah. Sure.
This comes from a lovely lady with a. Yeah, okay. I feel so bad for her. Heartbreak emoji. She definitely does not deserve jail time. She's just a kid. Reply to this. I feel bad given the situation she put herself in, but she put herself in that situation. I'm sorry, but if you can make a terrible life decision, you're old enough. And then Jules again saying, you have no idea how she got in that situation. So Jules is like, I feel so bad for her. She killed a baby. Like, she's a murderer. Like, she's reacting to a shorter version of the video, but at the same time, the longer version is very easy to find. I found it like 2 minutes, and it is very, 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 very clear from what the hospital staff are saying that she pushed a plastic bin liner down over this kid's face, and she has been telling multiple lies. So we can't trust anything she says. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty open and shut, unless there's some sort of really expulsory evidence here. There's not really anything. This other guy actually has a good point here. She put the baby in the trash and then put a new liner on top so you couldn't see the body if you opened it. Right, that's a good point. But then he goes on to say, I don't know, I'm not going to judge because I've never been in a position, but it's awful to think about the employee who found the dead baby. So even though he starts off strong, like definitely murder, he's going to say, I don't know, I'm not going to judge. That's crazy. And then somebody's agreeing. My first thoughts exactly. What a poor soul found this child. I mean, they might just be agreeing that with the line at the end. I hope she's getting help to process that for the employee. Not that we actually know the gender of the employee who found it. But it's kind of crazy the things that are being said on here. And I don't honestly think that you can protest something like this, because this is a crime committed by an individual. What you can protest is the people reacting to it, saying, I don't know, weird situation to be the judge in. She's only 19 and was probably scared. I don't know about giving her jail time. Which is another one of the comments from another guy. Like, we can protest that, but we can't really protest women who put their babies in the trash, because there's 8 billion people on the planet. There's going to be some nutbars who put babies in the trash. It's just statistics. We can't get around that. And I don't think that stopping everyone from having babies is like something we can even practically do. But anyway, back to you guys.
I would like to say something. I'd like to add on to my earlier statement. Earlier
Sure.
I said that she didn't look guilty with her face or on her face, but obviously she just gave birth, so it makes sense that she's probably had a lot of medicine in her body right now, because she's in a hospital, so it probably has a lot of painkillers and stuff. So that could explain her emotional state. Obviously,
I don't know. I mean, she's in hospital, but we don't know the actual reason she's there. It could have been well, it was probably the contractions, but she seems to have lied about that, because her mother, who I assume drove her there, had no idea about any of this, or at least she says she has no idea. I mean, yeah, I mean, 9 months pregnant and you didn't notice.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you have babies you can kick, but also just the belly. I mean, it's very noticeable.
Yeah, the belly is very noticeable, and it doesn't look like you're fat. Like, despite what people say, you can tell the difference between somebody who's pregnant and somebody who's fat. It's very obvious. Because none of the fat goes to her face or anything. Yeah,
but
she doesn't look fat.
That's her chest is covered, and you don't gain fat from being pregnant. It's just the baby.
I mean, you could argue that she's one of those, like somebody anorexic who starves herself to the point that the baby's very small, and like there's all sorts of arguments to be made here. But I mean, I do think that the mother came across as being a bit fake. But at the same time, that could just be regional accent and mannerisms. So it's really hard to actually say. The mother certainly cooperated with the police and so on. So that's good. Everyone's cooperating with the police.
But to take it back to the Twitter commenters, I have a problem with the idea that it's practical and demonstrable that, the majority of the mob can, like rush to her defense and support and cover. Yet it's impractical to ask men to stop impregnating women. I mean, I don't, what you're telling me about what's going on Twitter seems, impractical and outrageous and unrealistic to me, but it is happening. These people are saying this.
I mean, I don't know how you could possibly stop humans reproducing or how that would really help, because it's like, people are still going to do evil things. You're just going to end the species because a tiny minority of people do evil things. That doesn't sound.
I'm not talking about
rational.
I'm not talking about this young woman. I'm talking about the Twitter mob. That's not a tiny minority.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. To go to them. It
sounded a lot like you were talking
to them and say, look, if this is the best you can do, maybe it's time to shut this down.
Well, anyway, Twitter mob, we got Rebecca Boyton saying, whoever made the decision to ejaculate into an emotionally and mentally unstable high school student deserves jail time. I don't know if she's a high school student or not. I think she's mentioned studying, so I got the impression she was a college student. But this is somebody who's blaming the man for her killing this baby, which is pretty nuts.
So they want to charge the man with assisted manslaughter just because he gave birth to a child?
Yeah. Just because he he was involved in getting her pregnant. I don't like this phrase, he got her pregnant, because they both got pregnant together, basically. They both got her pregnant together. Is the most accurate way of putting it. But it's there's always this blame on the man. It's like the cops will often like the man might have no access to the house at all, but the cops will still be going to the man looking to try and charge him instead of the woman for the woman killing like a child and putting it in the garage as an actual example.
All of this seems to be arguing my position.
Well, I mean,
honestly,
we can go to the
make the case for me why. Make the case for me why it's still a good idea for men to continue being fathers. In the face of all this, I mean, how much evidence do you need?
Because otherwise the human race would end. Everyone would die.
So?
What do you mean, so?
In the face of everything we're seeing here, are you making the argument that the human race shouldn't at least be under threat of dying out?
So this one woman does something evil and you propose a worldwide...
I don't even know that she did anything evil. I'm talking about everyone on Twitter. That's the evil.
We're very confused with what you're saying, Taz.
It's
So you're
not that
saying everyone on
complicated.
Twitter should stop giving birth
You
to
re-
all of these
you
people?
respond to that mob by saying, if this is the best we can do, then it's time to take us out.
No, it's not.
I think they would just ignore
Okay,
that, honestly.
then give me a better answer.
I mean,
Give me a better idea, because right now I haven't heard one yet.
if you think stop impregnating crazy woman, or do you mean just stop impregnating woman altogether?
I can't. At least I wouldn't vouch for the idea that all of the parents, all of the mothers of this Twitter mob were crazy. They might have been perfectly sane, but they gave birth to people that are. I'm not going to call them crazy. I am going to call them evil. It ain't this young woman. It's them.
Well, I'm more of the mind that this is evidence that teenagers shouldn't be doing this. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
like I
Teenage
seriously
pregnancy is
don't think
complicated.
teenagers should be doing this, because this seems to happen a lot. Like, not the killing part, but the killing part happens at a depressingly regular rate. But the teenagers getting pregnant part, that's very common. And
Well, I'm not sure what the age of this girl is, but I mean, she could be like 20.
19.
That's 19. I mean, at that point, you've probably already finished puberty, so she shouldn't be excused from her actions due to being a teenager.
No, I'm not excusing her at all. I'm just saying that, like, you shouldn't be, like, if you're of high school age or younger, you shouldn't be engaging in any kind of reproductive acts. But, for your own and other safety. But,
I don't know, probably. Just as soon as you finish puberty, is that when you would consider it to be acceptable?
I mean, that's a whole debate on itself, as to when and where and stuff like that, to be honest. But moving back to the comments, there's some really, really depressing ones here. There's Brandon who's saying, put her under the jail forever, all caps. I don't agree with that either, but that is the kind of comment that most people would give towards, like in these Twitter threads, would give towards a man who did this, or a young man, a teen boy. But then he's got like 45 people in his comments saying, come on, man, have some compassion. Imagine what was going on in her soul and mind at the time. She doesn't deserve jail. She deserves help and compassion and understanding. That's a direct.
I mean,
There's no
agree.
/s after that.
I agree. She does deserve help in a mental institution. She should live there for the rest of her days.
I mean, I don't know about the rest of her days, but she certainly needs to go to a mental institution, and she certainly needs to spend several years there.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be a better solution than prison, because she'd probably just become more violent, and that's worse.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to help her feel good about what she's done, have her go to prison.
Exactly.
I mean, we could argue that prison isn't very good for anyone, really, except for keeping the worst of the worst locked up. But
yeah, that gets us into the prison reform question. Yeah. But as it is right now, sending her to prison won't correct this problem. And but for my own self, I do have a fair measure of compassion for her, just because of the fact that, effectively, now that this is viral, her life is over, prison or no.
I don't care about that. I honestly don't.
I don't.
She
I don't
put a baby,
necessarily
a living
either,
baby
because
in the
that
trash.
people's lives get ruined every day. But I still, nobody here has yet proposed a workable and practical solution to what everybody else is doing about this. I mean, you guys don't like my idea of just turning the whole thing off. So what should we do about the Twitter mob? What should we do about the ugliness in people's heart?
Well,
that's the real question.
Well, first off, I'd like to say that I don't think that even we would be saying that the person who killed this baby should not be in prison if they were male. Like, I think that if this person was male, we wouldn't even be talking about this. We would just be like, okay, send them to prison, bye. And I think that's, stick them in the cell and forget about them. But as to your actual question, what do we do about this? Well, the first step is to start educating people. We need to get into these comment threads and start saying, exactly what we've been saying here, which is that if this was a man, they would be advocating for putting the guy in a wood chipper, for hanging the guy, for like chucking him off a tall bridge, shooting him. Like this is the general Twitter reaction when like any young man commits an act of violence, like instant death penalty. It's kind of it's kind of the stereotype of like people have a right wingers. Weirdly enough, though Twitter's very left wing, but I do think that slow and steady education on this would help a lot. And I think that going in there and advocating, well, let's just shut down the human race, I don't think they would even understand that point. I don't think they would understand that at all. So we have to take it into some sort of language that they do understand, which is why I like the comparisons. And it pushes them to think things through a little bit more.
I understand what you're saying, but for the years that, I've read comments, I used to read them on Twitter, but I still read them on Reddit and TikTok and YouTube, Facebook, other social media platforms. What I have found is that presenting the comparison, is instantly drowned in accusations of whataboutism and false dichotomies. So I don't know if it was that effective. I thought it would have worked by now. But it just seems to me that any engagement beyond a genuine threat, to take everything away, it just it just feeds them. When reason is proposed to them, they just come back that much harder and that much uglier. So I don't know. I mean, are we just looking to reach a tipping point at some point in the future, or what?
I think the tipping point is upon us. There are all signs point to the Overton window shifting radically in the next couple of years. It already started a while back. I've been saying for a couple of years now that the shift is coming, and boy is it coming, and it's coming hard. We have people on the woke side of things who are actually turning around and questioning all the stuff that's been going on. unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of super movement against the feminist side, aside from taking over Twitter. But I think that's crumbling as well, and I think that now is our time to push, and now is our time to be seen as the reasonable people. Because if the thing about these Twitter engagements is, if you go on there and you sound reasonable and so on, and they attack you, you come out of that looking good, and the other person comes out of that looking bad, and you can screenshot that and you can show people, and so instead of convincing one person, you convince 5. And I think that is much more powerful. You also need to realize that even when people strongly object to reason and logic, they often go away in private and have a bit of a mental breakdown about it, and cracks start forming in their foundations. But you can't count on that, but framing it as a question is a good way to get them to understand what's going on. So saying, would you have the same reaction if it was a young man? ? That's, I think, a lot more powerful, because it gets them to supply the answer in their own head. And that's my tactic, is to ask them a question about it. And that can lead to more productive conversations than being like, well, let's just shut everything down. Because I don't think they would even understand that. I think they'd be like, and then they would be like, okay, this person doesn't make any sense, moving on. But if you ask them a question about their reaction, then you get into their head.
Well, it just makes me wonder. Well, it just makes me wonder why there appear to be so many others, or so many more people unwilling to listen to reason now than there was 5 years ago. I mean, like I said, everything you're describing about, addressing the respondent, but actually talking to the audience. I used to believe in that too, but at least as of this moment, the numbers don't support that. At least not on social media, which is why I don't favor the idea of engaging people over social media. But at least it appears to me that the platforms themselves are geared to encourage and promote controversy, and not solutions. But to answer your objection about turning the whole thing off, one-on-one conversations, even with people that are pretty firmly entrenched in their position, that's the one thing I can propose, at least as a negative alternative, that will have them engaging with me from my perspective. Okay? Because if I say anything else, then I just get dismissed. But if I say, look, we can just turn the whole thing off, then suddenly they're all ears. I don't know, like I say, I'm only speaking out of my own experience, but I have found, at least the concept that this doesn't have to go on, to be very persuasive. To tell people that there is still time and we don't have to do it this way, But the point is to make it clear that we can.
Okay, I think I'm a lot more on board with what you're saying now, that you've explained it like that. Before it sounded a little bit crazy to me. I mean, it sounded like you're actually advocating that.
I
but-
know, and that was by purpose, but by comparison with the comments that you were just reading from Twitter, it's not that crazy. It's just not. And yeah, it's it's an outrageous idea that I don't think anyone, should actually try to implement, obviously. But the point is that it needs to be made clear that if things get bad enough, which my opinion they are, that, it's no longer outrageous and it's no longer unthinkable. Sometimes you have to shock people into being reasonable. Like I said, one thing that I can say is that it is effective. It gets people to listen to reason, even if they really, really don't want to.
Well, we'll have to think about that one. It's probably best we go away and think about it. Okay, so we've got another video to line up. I don't actually understand this system we're using because it was something that was suggested right before the stream. So I'm going to leave it to kind of seek him out to set this up and sort it out. Because it's not the time for me to start pressing buttons, really. Is there anything I have to do on my end?
No, I'll have it ready.
Okay, thank you.
It's is it okay if I just I'm not sure if I can load it up on the activity, so if you guys would this work? I just have it pulled up here.
Okay, this is weird. We've got a video and another video now. I should probably try and quit out of the other one.
Yeah. I can play it right here.
Okay, hold on. Let me go down and make sure that it's set up properly. Everyone else, you've got to click on the going live thing.
I'll play the video now.
You're literally going to stoop that low to start a rumor that I'm a pedo? That's not even something you joke about.
Yeah. Well, you broke my heart, so now I'm going to ruin your career.
Okay, first of all, I don't even know, like, I'm not scared, because I know that's not gonna work. Like, how would you...
How would it not work? How would it not work?
Well, first of all, I'm recording this, so I'm just gonna post it, so everyone knows that you're lying.
Scared. It's just gonna flop like all your other posts. It's gonna get 2 views,
No.
and then you're gonna get embarrassed, and you're gonna delete it, so no one will see it. I'm not scared.
All right. I'll replay it once for people who didn't see it.
So what if I start a rumor that you're a pedo?
You're literally going to stoop that low to start a rumor that I'm a pedo? That's not even something you joke about.
Yeah. Well, you broke my heart, so now I'm going to...
Are you guys
Okay,
there?
first of all, I don't even know, like, I'm not scared, because I know that's not gonna work. Like, how would you...
How would it
Yeah.
not work? How would it not work?
Well, first of all, I'm recording this, so I'm just gonna post it, so everyone knows that you're lying.
Scared. It's just gonna flop like all your other posts. It's gonna get 2 views,
No.
and then you're gonna get embarrassed, and you're gonna delete it, so no one will see it. I'm not scared.
total psycho.
I agree.
Like, she sounds like she's enjoying it. Like, she really sounds like she's really enjoying that.
Yeah, she seems to be convinced that there are no consequences to doing that.
Well, they usually aren't.
Heartbroken. That her behavior is justified just because of that.
Well, if you're, you know, a total crazy person, then you probably do think that your actions are justified, and it's kind of bonkers. I mean, I don't know what her particular diagnosis would be, but it's definitely in the crazy town region. Dang, like, I've seen that video 3 times now, and it doesn't get any better. It's like the gaslighting alone is crazy. Like, she tries to convince him not to post it online by mocking him and saying he'll only get 2 views on it. So like she's negging him. She's trying to get him to to back down so that she can just accuse him, and so he hands her all the power. And it sounds like to me this is something he's done before. Like, he's backed down in the face of her, and this breakup is him finally like telling her no, essentially. Like, this is what it sounds like to me, at least. Or at the very least, she thinks she's in his head and stuff like that. It's hard to say exactly what's going on, but that's my take anyway. And like, just wow. But does anyone else want to comment on it?
Obviously, we can't really tell. We can tell just from the way she's acting that she's a bit crazy. But of course, if we don't really know the reason they broke up, so I guess we can make our own assumptions, but they could be wrong.
Well, I'm not going to make assumptions. I'm just going to say they broke up, they didn't get on, and now she's getting revenge on that, which she didn't mention any specific things. All she said was, "You broke up with me." That in itself is very telling. So he didn't do anything to her, I don't think, except break up with her.
Yeah.
And second to that, even if he cheated on her with every woman he met from the beginning of their relationship to the end, that wouldn't justify her trying to destroy him. Like, trying to get him, like, accusing somebody of that, like starting a rumor about that, is essentially an attempt to get somebody beaten up or killed, get them arrested, get them like attacked in the streets. Like, she is wishing physical violence on him. There's no justification for that. Gears, did you want to say something?
I just wish we could get more context, since honestly I can't think of anything, absolutely anything, that would warrant that kind of response.
I mean,
there is nothing that could justify it.
Like sleeping with her sister or something? I don't know. Something like that.
Not living sleeping.
It still wouldn't justify it.
Not even sleeping with
Yeah,
his,
but it
sorry,
would
her mother.
at least show that she had like a decent motive. I mean, from this point, she's kind of just crazy.
No, I don't think that would, like, motive still doesn't justify her doing that. But you heard the video, and she didn't say sleeping with my sister. She didn't say killed my dog. I mean, if he killed her dog, maybe, but like, she didn't say that. And somebody who was angry at somebody would upfront say, you killed my dog, you did this, you did that. She said upfront, you broke up with me. And now she sounds like she's really, really, really enjoying this chance to destroy him. And she absolutely does seem to intend to destroy him. Like she's almost laughing in the tape there. So this is clearly a power trip for her. This clearly isn't about getting back so much as it is about enjoying destroying and having power over somebody. This is an emotional abuser, not somebody getting like legitimate revenge for anything, even if it's a stupid small thing.
Plus, even if it was killing her dog, still not justified. You can just go and say, until the
I'd call that a little justified.
My dog.
I mean, if you kill someone's dog, that I wouldn't mind you being in prison for life, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, people's dogs. It's like there's a reason the John Wick spends 4 movies like massacring people because some guy killed his dog. Like people get very attached to their dogs.
Still don't really see him as like a complete villain. So
yeah,
it's fine.
It's kind of weird. But, I mean, they're all villains. There's no good guys in that film, really. But anyway, the point is, like, she's clearly on an emotional power trip there. Like, she is mocking him. She's staring at him. She's saying, yeah, post it if you want. You know, nobody's going to see it. It's not going to matter. So you may as well not. Which is just stupid logic and gaslighting.
Even if somebody killed your dog, would you wish them to go to jail possibly for a long time?
Wait.
Get raped?
If people are allowed to kill cows and chickens, then why shouldn't it not be okay to do that to dogs?
I think that's
nobody should kill somebody else's pet dog. However, wishing him to go to jail for a very long time just for the accusation of being a pedo or getting him beaten up or possibly even sexually assaulted, raped, his house pelted just for killing a dog. And this is a hypothetical dog.
I mean, this was just an example. This was me saying if she had something she thought was a legitimate reason, it doesn't matter if it's a legitimate reason to us. If she thought she had something which was a legitimate reason, she would be screaming, "You killed my dog, you killed my dog." That's, you know, so I'm going to tell everyone, blah, blah, blah. That's how it would go down. She would start with the, the thing, she would be insistent about things. She would be saying it constantly. You killed my dog, therefore, you deserve this. She'd be angry. She's not angry at all. She's enjoying herself. And her only accusation is, you broke up with me. And so this sounds to me like a narcissist who has found that their victim is trying to break their chains. And so she's probably going to tell him to come back to her. Like this is one of the typical patterns I've seen is they will like make all these threats and then they'll say come back to me and I won't. But that's emotionally abusive. That's very, very emotionally abusive. Either way, like even if she doesn't say the come back to me stuff, like this is incredibly abusive behavior. This is a female abuser in action, and the ease with which she does it is.
The point is, we can't assume that he didn't do anything to her either. I mean, sure, that's what the implication of the voice says, but you can't Occam's razor everything through your life. Sure, it's likely because she doesn't even sound upset. She just sounds happy, but or neutral. However, you can never know.
She's
We can
definitely not
never know.
neutral there.
I'm making assumptions in the. She doesn't sound distressed, but we don't know if she's distressed. Personally, when I'm distressed, I sound fucking mechanic because that's the best thing I can do, not to cry. So.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think
I've never heard anyone who sounds happy when they're distressed, who sounds like they're like their voice is teasing. That was certainly not a neutral tone of voice. Like there was a teasing, mocking tone of voice with undertones of like sadistic pleasure, and that was certainly the voice of somebody who's an abuser. Like there's no question in my mind about that. I mean, we can ask questions about what else might have happened in the relationship, but as far as I'm concerned, we can only judge on this recording. And from this recording, I don't see any evidence that he's done anything, but I see plenty of evidence that she's an emotional abuser, like mountains of evidence in that one clip.
Yeah, I went to the original poster and they deleted their account, so we can't really get any more evidence or video about it. So that sucks.
Yeah, it sounds like she got to him. I'm not getting abuser vibes this guy. I'm getting victim vibes.
But a lot of people do edit the video, and on TikTok, when you do edit a video, it's still saved. So the video isn't really going to go away. So it's still out there.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it's on Twitter as well now, so.
A lawyer is going to tell you to take that shit down because it would count as inciting an issue. It's like, no, don't show them your evidence. Delete your account, remove the post.
That's a fair point. Yeah, a lawyer might actually tell them to do that. I'm not sure a lawyer would tell them to delete their account, but actually they might if there was a lot of other videos on there which count as evidence. But you'd have to be sure that he had them all backed up first, because if you don't, then you've deleted all your evidence. But I do hope we hear from this guy again and we find out more about this, because I mean, just with that one video, I think he would have a solid case that she's an emotional abuser. I don't know what would come of that, but it's certainly very solid in my mind, purely from her tone of voice, her word choice, and so on. Just analysing the video, I'm pretty sure that she is. But in any case, do we perhaps want to go on to a new topic or keep on this one?
I mean, I don't know. Let me think of
well, I think we've been going on. Yeah, I think we've been going quite a while on the live stream. So if you guys, if you want to give the outro, just say thanks for coming and stuff. I'll go shut us off, and you can go to free talk. You can talk wherever you want.
Should I do the outro?
Yeah, if you want or not. I mean, I basically just gave it anyway.
Right. Thank you all for tuning into our live stream today on Men's Human Rights. We appreciate your participation and support. Let's continue to stand together and work towards a more equitable future for men. Stay strong, stay informed, and remember that every voice matters. Goodbye and take care.